Now on RTV6 News at 5, 3 words are causing controversy in a local town. The phrase is now on the side of their police cars, but many want it removed.
A father accused of abandoning his 8-year-old daughter and having her fend for herself turns himself in, but we are now learning.
Our summer weather pattern continues to bring the heat into central Indiana. I'll let you know when we'll finally get a break and cool things down.
Blood can save lives, but so can bone marrow. The inspirational story of one young girl and how you can help others.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Created the petition to kind of show people that it's not just me, that it is a problem.
New tonight, a few words are causing quite a stir, and now some people want what's being called a controversial phrase removed from police cars in one Madison County town. Dozens have signed a petition to have All Lives Matter taken off Frankton police cruisers since it can carry negative connotations, countering the Black Lives Matter movement. RTV6's Stephanie Wade asked Frankton town leaders why this was done and whether it will stay.
It's this decal that some community members would like to see removed from Frankton Police Department vehicles. Some say it's inappropriate for a local government agency to take a side in such a controversial matter.
As I kind of educated myself on the Black Lives Matter movement more and kind of spoke with other people about it, I kind of realized that that's not okay and it needs to come off.
A Frankton resident, Molly Hobbs, created this petition to remove the All Lives Matter decals from all police vehicles. They were added in 2016, Hobbs says, during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, and feels some across the country have used the phrase All Lives Matter to counter it and silence people of color fighting for justice. A local NAACP board member says it's all about the intention. Black Lives Matter's mission is to bring to light racial injustices that stem from systematic problems they feel are not being addressed. If police are trying to be inclusive, he asks, what have you done to put that slogan in action? And how are you bringing the community together?
If your ultimate goal is to say all lives matter and you're trying to bring more people to the conversation, then you're doing it with good intentions. If your purpose to say all lives matter is something to say I'm running counter to another disagreement or Black Lives Matter, then your intentions doesn't seem to be as pure as hard as you may seem. That may seem that you're just reacting to something because you don't like that perspective.
The town marshal wouldn't speak to me on camera, but says the decals are not meant to criticize the BLM movement. Coming up at 6, hear what the town is doing now that nearly 100 people have signed the petition. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Now, just into the RTV6 newsroom, a man who, along with his wife, is accused of abandoning his adopted daughter, changing her age, and moving out of the country, just turned himself into Tippecanoe County authorities. Michael and Christine Barnett face neglect charges, following a 5-year investigation. According to charging documents, the couple adopted a child from the Ukraine in 2010, then changed her age from 8 to 22 in the year 2012. The girl told detectives she lived with the Barnetts for 2 years in Hamilton County after the adoption, but says in 2013 they rented her an apartment in Lafayette and left her there alone for nearly 3 years and never contacted her again. Time for our first look at the Storm Team 6 forecast. As we wind down the last week of summer, we're enjoying a pleasant, warm September day. Sunny skies and a nice breeze on the Monon Trail. But many of you are making those evening plans. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts is watching the temperatures and that changing time of sunset these days.
Yeah, we're inching closer to fall, and those days are starting to get a little shorter, at least the daylight hours, right? Here's how things are going to be shaping up over the next few weeks, really. Tonight, our sun sets at 7:49. In a month, just after 7 o'clock, and then once we get a couple months down the road here, it's already going to be dark by the time we reach 5:30. 5:27 will be the sunset for us. Look at temperatures all around central Indiana right now. It's 80 in Crawfordsville, 84 in Lafayette, and 86 in Indianapolis. Haven't had too much in the way of humidity out there, so it's certainly feeling not too bad, not having to talk about that heat index or feels like numbers. Satellite and radar, things are still pretty quiet here, and as we look off to the north and west, nearest rain, that's over 300 miles away, and that continues to fall apart. So if you're heading out this evening, no need for the umbrella or jacket. We'll have those temperatures still comfortable in the lower 70s by 10 o'clock.
And right now you will want to avoid a portion of College Avenue on the north side. College is shut down between 71st and 75th Streets because of this water main break. Citizens Energy says there is no timeline for repairs and for the road to reopen. But again, right now, College Avenue is closed between 71st and 75th Streets because of a water main break. And new at 5, the West Nile virus has now been found in Tippecanoe County. The Tippecanoe County Health Department says one mosquito group has tested positive for West Nile. This is the first time this year that a positive test has been reported in Tippecanoe County. Health officials are asking you to take precautions when outdoors, use insect repellent containing DEET, and make sure your property is free of any standing water.
It looks like Indianapolis will get more money than previously thought to fix its roads and sidewalks, but that funding increase will come at a cost to other Indiana counties. That's because the Indiana Auditor's Office made a mistake when distributing road funding money across the state. The mistake will likely mean Marion County will get more money in 2020 while other counties will get less. It's still unclear exactly how much more money Indianapolis will receive.
We're pretty excited. We think it's a good thing for Indianapolis residents in Marion County. We don't have a whole lot of information at this point as we're still working through some numbers.
City officials are scheduled to speak at an upcoming public meeting to discuss the results of the road funding corrections.
In our Hiring Hoosiers report, a medical consulting startup will make Indianapolis home for its headquarters, bringing in new jobs. Indiana Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch joined city leaders today to welcome expert RNMD to the state. Its new headquarters is on the 3rd floor of 235 South Meridian downtown, and the company says it plans to create up to 21 new high-wage jobs over the next several years.
Still ahead on RTV6 News. You know about the power of blood donation, but donating bone marrow can also save lives. We introduce you to the little girl who is proof of that.
So far, it has been a very dry month in central Indiana, but there are some signs we're going to get in on some needed rainfall over the next few days. Closer look at your 7-day forecast. You're watching RTV6 News at 5.
Drive at Honda of Fishers.
Welcome back to RTV6 News at 5. You know, donating blood is always a good way to save lives.
But so is donating bone marrow. Today, Riley Children's Health held a bone marrow registry drive. Bone marrow and stem cell transplants help treat certain cancers, sickle cell disease, and serve anemia. But unfortunately, not all patients have a matching donor in their family, so they have to rely on the bone marrow of strangers. Little Alanya Pittman was only 9 when she needed a bone marrow stem cell transplant due to leukemia, and none of her family members were matches.
After we found out that we were not matches, we were very nervous, just thinking, what if we don't find a match for her? What will we do? Because we knew that that was really our only hope at that time. Within a week of her joining the Be the Match registry, we were told that they found a perfect match for her, and he was willing to be a donor. She went through several outpatient testings in the outpatient center, and then within a month we were getting the stem cell transplant.
It has been 2 years since Alanya had a bone marrow stem cell transplant, and she is doing well and is back in school. If you're able to donate bone marrow, can help many people in need.
Developing tonight, day 3 of the United Auto Workers strike affecting GM plants in our state and around the country. But now it looks like there's progress toward a new contract. Committees are working on issues such as wages, health insurance costs, use of temporary workers, and new work for plants slated to close. A UAW spokesperson says talks are moving slowly but progressing. More than 49,000 workers walked off their jobs on Monday. The union had been pushing for a bigger share of GM's profits and fighting the company's goal of cutting labor costs. Across Indiana, there are roughly 7,000 GM employees on strike, including 300 at the Kokomo plant.
In Democracy 2020 coverage tonight, more than 50 mayors across the U.S. see South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg as the country's next president, including 9 from here in Indiana. Those mayors decided to endorse Buttigieg in an opinion letter published in USA Today. The letter praised the Democrat as a role model in the community, especially in the African-American community, after an officer-involved shooting in the city. The national polling average has Buttigieg 5th behind former Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Senator Kamala Harris. 9 of the mayors who endorsed Buttigieg led a city in Indiana. Those 9 are John Hamilton in Bloomington, Ted Ellis in Bluffton, Oakland City Mayor Hugh Wirth, the Mayor of Logansport, Dave Kitchell, Greg Goodnight in Kokomo, Brent Bascom in Rising Sun, Rockport Mayor Gay Ann Harney, Ron Muir in Michigan City, and Gabriel Greer in Peru.
Right now, authorities in Terre Haute are searching for a man mistakenly released from the Vigo County Jail. Sheriff's Office officials say 48-year-old Greg Shepard was released without a court order on September 5th. Shepard was being held on criminal confinement, battery, and theft charges. The sheriff does not believe Shepard is a threat to the public. His department is reviewing procedures to make sure no one is mistakenly released again. Today, the Senate questioned leaders from top social media sites about their responsibility in spreading extremism and violence online. ABC's Trevor Alt with the emergency details tonight.
Today, representatives from some of the internet's largest companies, Facebook, Twitter, and Google, sitting down for a joint Senate hearing facing questions about mass violence and extremism spread through their sites.
I think this is a area where it's an evolving challenge. Both because technology evolves, because people's tactics evolve.
Experts say hate groups have been exploiting social media sites to further their message and radicalize vulnerable people. Today's hearing comes a day after Facebook announced updated internal guidelines, revamping the site's effort to detect extremism and hate. The new guidelines reference the March mass shooting at a New Zealand mosque, which was live streamed on Facebook. The video left on the site for anyone to view for an hour. Facebook's head of global policy management, Monica Bickert, today testifying the company's artificial intelligence tools didn't spot violence in that video.
And that's just one of the many efforts we have to try to improve these machine learning technologies so that we can stop the next viral video at the time of upload.
Google and Twitter also addressing their role in confronting extremism. Since 2015, Twitter's suspended more than 1.5 million accounts for violations of company rules related to terrorism. But Wednesday, Public Policy Director Nick Pickles said that doesn't fix everything.
We acknowledge that technology companies have a role to play. However, it's important to recognize content removal alone cannot solve these issues.
An official with the Anti-Defamation League also testified today. He said domestic extremist violence and anti-Semitic hate are both on the rise, and the environments on these online sites are amplifying that hateful rhetoric. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
Our daily lives can be packed full of stress, and our Scripps team is learning that stress can impact our teeth, our jaw, and our smile, which could lead to other health issues too. Dentists across the country see it all of the time, the effects of teeth grinding and clenching. People will wake up with jaw pain, a headache, or the feeling that their teeth are brittle. Dentists say if you're thinking about something stressful before you fall asleep, it could cause you to clench your teeth tightly when you're snoozing, which can cause pain in the morning. And it's not just a pain issue. There is also a risk for tooth damage, teeth wear, and in several cases, you could actually crack teeth so badly that they are not restorable. So how can you try to prevent this from happening?
We have, the use of mouth guards in addition to maybe some behavioral modifications, getting enough sleep, making sure they're healthy, watching their sugar and their caffeine intake.
It is not just at night people might be grinding or clenching. It can also be happening during the day. Doctors say stress is just one of the reasons for tooth wear. It could also be from a sleep disorder like sleep apnea. If you are concerned, see a dentist or your primary care doctor.
Working for you with an RTV6 recall alert, Purdue Foods is recalling some of its frozen chicken tenders. The chicken is labeled as Purdue Simply Smart Organics gluten-free breaded chicken breast tenders. The problem here, the meat in some of those bags actually contains wheat, so it isn't gluten-free. Purdue Foods says the labeling mistake applies to about 330 bags of its chicken tenders. There have been no reports of reaction or illness related to the mislabeled chicken. You can contact the company for a refund.
Air pollution could potentially impact an unborn child. That's according to a new study. Researchers in Belgium found black carbon in the placentas of 25 non-smoking women after they gave birth. That leads them to believe those particles may have also reached the fetuses. A link between air pollution and miscarriages, premature births, and low birth weights has already been established, but scientists previously thought those particles could not cross through the placenta and impact unborn children directly. Experts say there needs to be more research to know if the particles that cause black carbon can travel from the placenta to the fetus. The pollutants found in the new study are the kind created by the burning of fossil fuels.
Meteorologist Kyle Mounts now with the Storm Team 6 forecast, and he brought up a picture of the downtown Indy skyline on one of our cameras.
Yeah.
It's looking good today. day.
Yeah,
nice
from
day
the
out.
Motor Speedway, the pagoda there, we've got crystal clear blue skies, and also the trees, the grass looking pretty good despite the fact that we've only picked up 1/100th of an inch of rain officially in the downtown area in the month of September. I think that's going to change here over the next few days, but we still have a lot of dry weather coming our direction and more summer heat. Check this out. Our temperature 86. That's our high for the day. Average high is 77. The humidity, though, not really an issue today. Only 33%, thanks in part to that south and east breeze. Right now, it's out of the northeast in Zionsville at 86. Your temperature, we've got 83 for you in Kokomo and Bloomington at a mild 85. Now, this evening with the clear skies, we'll see an initial drop in those temperatures as the sun sets. Once we get to around 8 o'clock tonight, 77 degrees, and then we'll slowly slide back through the 70s and into the 60s by tomorrow morning, about 63 in the city. Notice, though, some locations with those clear skies around will be dipping down into the 50s to start off your Thursday morning. 62, though, in Bloomington. Lots of sunshine here as we get the day started. 70 degrees by 10 a.m. So we'll see a pretty quick warm in these temperatures. Your lunchtime number, 80 degrees. We'll get into the mid-80s by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The afternoon also going to bring a few more clouds around, but it's going to be another dry day for us. Not going to have any rainfall here to contend with, and that will allow temperatures to continue to warm with the dry weather. 88 for that afternoon high, and we'll have a little more humidity, so that will send that heat index value a little closer to the 90-degree mark. Thursday afternoon, Marion, 84 degrees will be your high temperature. 86 in Lafayette, 88 in Martinsville, Indy, and Shelbyville. 87 for you in Park County and Rockville, and close to the 90-degree mark in Bedford and Seymour at 89 degrees. So if you've been watering, or maybe you've kind of given up at this point, you're going to need to continue to water the lawn here the next few days. Best rain chance coming up for widespread rain, that'll be on Sunday. But before we get there, there is the chance for a few showers here as we go into Friday evening, mainly north of Interstate 70. The rain coverage not expected to be all that widespread, so only about a 20% chance that as you're heading out to some of those high school football games in northern communities that you could have a spotty shower. Otherwise, our kickoff temperature going to be in the lower 80s, and as you're heading home, 75. 7-day planning forecast now. We put it all together. That dry weather carrying over into the first half of the weekend with highs into the mid and upper 80s here. Then on Sunday, about a 40% chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Fall arrives on Monday, and so does the cooler air. That'll be more seasonal, though. It's not a big change, but 78 for the high on Monday, and we'll keep those highs around 80 degrees into the middle of next week.
And just enjoy the time, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks,
Summer's sticking down.
Sticking around. Well, he is a miracle baby. This little fighter wasn't expected to survive. He weighed just a little more than a pound when he was born.
But he has overcome the odds and is finally at home with his family. Chris and Jessica Hill have waited months for this moment. They are finally together at home as a family of 3. Baby Finn was born weighing only 1 pound, 2 ounces at birth. He spent 113 days in a neonatal intensive care unit at Children's Hospital in Orlando, Florida.
When we got to Nemours, the day we got there, the doctor came in and basically told us that we could lose him at any moment. They sent the chaplain in to talk to us.
But earlier this month, the family took Finn home, recording the moment that they left the hospital. Look at that. The Hills struggled for infertility for nearly a decade. Jessica became pregnant after adopting 2 embryos. At 10 weeks, she lost one of the babies. A blood clot and complications caused her to go into labor prematurely. She gave birth to Finn. The Hills now hope Finn puts on weight.
Every snuggle and smile is a reminder of the gift they are holding.
It sure is there. Well, Southwest Airlines no longer serves its beloved peanuts on flights, but we'll show you how you can still get your hands on them. That's coming up here on RTV6.
The only name you need to know.
Hello to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV. The state is in day number 2 of their case-in-chief in the corn rake murder trial happening right now in Dubuque, Iowa. Defendant Todd Mollis is accused of murdering his wife, Amy Lynn. Amy was impaled by a corn rake on the couple's hog farm back in November of 2018. And both the state and the defense agree that she was murdered. Prosecutors say that it was her husband, Todd Mollis, who murdered her with the farming tool. Prosecutors say that they know the motive, that it was the marriage that was troubled between the two. And if they divorced, Todd stood to lose a lot of money. It seems that a lot of people knew about the problems in the couple's marriage as well. So could someone else have have killed Amy Mullis. As the defense says, there are stories of adultery and affairs and perhaps even a love triangle. Friends of the victim took the stand this morning, testifying to the fact that Amy feared her husband might kill her. One friend named Terry Stainer testified that Todd is a person you don't want to mess with. Will the jury believe her? We'll be bringing you live gavel-to-gavel coverage of this bizarre criminal trial right here on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Julie. You can stream Court TV Live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at courttv.com. You can no longer get peanuts on Southwest Airlines planes.
Oh, if you miss those tasty treats, well, you're in luck. Southwest is selling 10-ounce packages of lightly salted and honey-roasted peanuts online. Those are the two kinds the airline served before it had to stop giving them out due to allergy concerns. Southwest will send you the peanuts inside a silver lunchbox.
It will cost you $29 online, but the company says they are on back order and more will be available on October 3rd while supplies last.
I think most people want the lunchbox. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, not $29 peanuts? Okay. Ahead at 6 p.m. here on RTV6, a look at another program helping students get ready for life after the classroom. We'll introduce you to a program connecting students with the transportation industry.
But first on the Now Indy, last year a baby had one of the rarest operations at Riley Hospital for Children. Surgeons removed half of her brain in order to give her a much better quality of life. Tonight we check on her 1 year later. You're watching RTV6.